Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Kamen Rider Zero Spike back again once again today, people. Today we're here for Kamen Rider Revice episode 31, and this episode was a great episode, and also we got some more backstory on Ikki and why, and also why he starts to fade away from basically why he doesn't remember certain things, and also why he fades away from certain pictures and portraits and things like that. We also found out why that happens, but it's a very simple answer. I mean, I kind of figured it would have something to do with Vice, but it's a very simple answer. But hey, we got an answer now, and we know the possibilities of what could happen by him constantly using Vice's powers, and one day he could fade, one day he could forget everything. But basically, this episode we find out we basically start off with while they're inside of while Ikki's inside of his own little world. Turns out he's actually going through his old memories of him and Junko, and while he's going through this, everybody else is trying to figure out where that phase one dead man is. We see that Daiji and Sakura are the ones that are actually going after it. It turns out it's based on a type of flower that shoots basically pollen. And when we see that she ends up fighting it, and while she's fighting it, Daiji's also trying to figure out what's going on with, basically she's still trying to figure out what's going on with Ikki. So, but also we see that Akashi, the director of Phoenix, he's got his own plans going on. But turns out we were right about what happened. We were right about that that other demon that he summoned, the one that was just floating around. Yeah, that was Veil. That demon actually turned out to be Veil. I guess that's actually Veil's like demon form. Veil actually looks a lot like Vice. Yeah, Veil basically looks exactly like Vice. He's just he's just a lot more pink and whatever. But yeah, that was actually Veil. And we see that the director girl who was basically with George, she sees this, but she sees Akashi talking to Veil, but she can't see Veil. She can only see Akashi, and when she sees Akashi, he's like standing there talking like in the wind, like he's standing there, like he's talking to himself. So she can't see that, but I guess she ends up leaving, and I guess she goes back and tells George about it. But yeah, speaking of George, so we see George in one scene of this episode. You see that he sends Daiji to go help her while she's fighting the dead man, this new dead man. And when Daiji leaves, we see that George, for some reason, gets some memories of him like using the demon's driver, and he's like staring at the demon's driver kind of psychotically, and he has to basically like snap himself out of it. But you see that he's looking at it really weirdly. So I don't know what the hell that was. It was creepy. I don't know what that was. But yeah, so we also while Ikki is going through his memories, we see that he figures out why Junko hates him. And turns out while they were back in the day, they practicing and stuff like that, and we see that Ikki is the he ends up making a mistake and causing Junko to get an injury, and basically breaks his leg, basically breaks his leg, and Ikki feels horrible about it. But at the same time, Junko basically does end up forgiving him. And that's when Ikki makes a promise to go to the pros and everything like that, become a pro soccer player, things like that, do it for Junko. But we actually see that this incident drastically throws him off of his game. Drastically. I say drastically, I mean he can't even kick a ball. He can't even kick the ball into the goal. He misses every single time. Um, oh god, he misses every single time. He has he's having a horrible time, you know, trying to deal with what happened to Junko, and also coping with the fact that he's actually the one that ended up hurting Junko in the first place. And yeah, so he ends up quitting soccer altogether. And when he quits soccer, we see that he does end up forgetting. He does end up forgetting that as well. So that's why he really did not. That's why he was weirded out about it, because he really did not know what happened. But yeah, he drastically injured Junko, broke his promise to him by not staying in soccer and going to the pro leagues. And yeah, so for some reason, I don't know how, but Junko, the real Junko, is there. I don't know how he's there at all. I don't know, but the real Junko's there, and then him and Iki have a talk with each other. They sit down, they apologize with each other and things like that, and that's when he's able to end up getting out of this world. Now, when while this is happening, we see that Sakura is fighting. Sakura is still fighting the dead men, and we see that Daiji has gone there to help her. And it turns out she ends up getting blasted. She ends up getting blasted by this pollen, and when she gets blasted by the pollen, the same thing that happened to Iki starts happening to her, where she's attacking and stuff like that, but she can't. She's attacking the wrong things. She looks so weird doing it. She's running she's running into walls and punching the wall and anything that basically feels solid, because she does get blasted with this pollen and she can't see anything. Her and Love-kun. So yeah. Well, Love-chan. Yeah. So what happens is we see that Daiji sees this, and he runs up there trying to help her, and then he ends up transforming into Holy Live and fighting this dead man on his own as well. So after Iki has his Iki and Junko, they reconcile with each other. He ends up actually waking up from out of his world. And he turns out Subura was the culprit behind all of this. Subura, basically, he was the one that had used the dead men in the first place. He did all this just so him and Iki and Junko would possibly come together, but it still was kind of stupid. But anyway, but also because Junko was there. Because Junko's a lot older than them, especially. But yeah, Junko was there. I mean, Subura was there. Subura was there, and he was coaching. He was coaching that day, the day that Junko got hurt. So he was there. He saw that. He saw how it affected both of them. So he basically remembered this and came up with that plan to, try and get them together. Which, kind of a stupid plan. You kind of put a lot of people's lives in danger by just trying to get these two guys to talk to each other, but it was still stupid. It was still a stupid plan in my opinion. But anyway, we see that Iki goes off to go help help brother and sister fight this dead man. We see Aguilera is there. Aguilera's watching all of this. Aguilera's watching all of this go down. We see that the son, not really the son, but the son from the Weekend family. He's there. He's pointing a gun to Aguilera, telling her, "Hey, stop." He's like, "Hey, stop clinging on to Aguilera," stuff like that. And he's like, "Oh," she's like, "Nah, I just came here to ask her something," and stuff like that. And that's basically that. And she basically walks off screen. That's the last we see Aguilera for the rest of this episode. But we do see that the family does end up defeating this monster. Does end up defeating the brothers end up defeating the dead men, and they beat them in a really cool freaking way. They turn into Thunder Gale. Iki turns into Thunder Gale, and while he's in Thundergale, he's using the rolling vice stamp. He's using the rolling vice stamp to, you know, and he's while he's using it, he's like drawing stuff, you know, because while he used the rolling vice stamp, you could draw things, and you could draw fire and get fire powers, or you could draw electricity and get electricity and stuff like that. He was doing that, and he was actually powering up Daiji throughout the battle, which was actually very cool. That whole sequence was actually super dope. But other than that, after they end up defeating the monster, they end up finding out that Subura was the culprit. Subura gets taken in by Phoenix, and after that, we get a talk between Iki and Vice. Vice basically says that, you know, our contract and me lending you my power and stuff like that affects your memory, so affects your memories and stuff. So one day, even your family will, like, even one day you'll forget about your own family. So yeah, so that's why Iki's fading away from pictures. That's why he's, you know, that's why the things that he doesn't remember is because by him and Vice's contract, and by Vice lending him his powers and things like that, he's slowly losing his memories. But yeah, so episode basically ends off right there. Next episode is gonna be like more like an Aguilera centric episode, Aguilera Sakura centric episode. Iki splashed in there, stuff like that. So, but yeah, can't wait to see how that turns out, because I want to know what are they gonna do with this whole Aguilera timeline thing that they got going on. But yeah, you guys let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this episode. What you guys think about the whole reveal of why Iki is the way that he is forgetting things and fading from things and stuff like that. You guys let me know how you feel about that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay henshined.